Alrighty, what's up, everyone, and welcome to 3D Rivals, the podcast where we talk about movies and comics and everything in between. My name is Darren, also name. I want to get that whole intro right eventually. My name is Darren, also known as DJ Shadow, and I am joined by my two siblings who I forced to join me on this podcast. My sister, whose name is
Doreen.
Derek, what's up?
My sister, you said Doreen?
Yeah, Doreen.
Doreen. Okay, and so we have Doreen, and then I didn't introduce him, but yeah, we have Derek here too, I guess.
Doreen was taking too long.
Derek is still fired, by the way. He's here temporarily while we search through our applications, so go ahead and put your application in if you would like to be on 3D Rivals. Only prerequisite is that your name starts with D. But
no one's worthy to replace me.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people worthy. But so this week we saw the Aquaman movie, which I know is not out in theaters just yet, but we got to see an early screening of it, and we'll be talking about that movie. Of course, we will attempt not to spoil anything at first, but we will get into spoilers later on in the podcast, so I'm going to put a spoiler warning up front here and again when we talk about it later. But of course, Spoiler alert. We always talk about the news. So, first thing I want to talk about is something that I mentioned last time we talked, but our audience didn't get to hear us talk about it. So, Marvel's making a Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu movie, which I'm pretty sure no one knows.
Right, and we have no idea who that is.
No, I don't know who that is, but I looked him up. He doesn't seem interesting, but I do like the fact that Marvel is doing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can make a good movie out of it. They said they were looking to do something similar to what they did with Black Panther, and not like story-wise, but Black Panther was a big, excuse me, it was a big movie with a largely Black and African cast, and of course other races in there. So they're trying to do the same thing with the Asian cast with Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, which is something that's not seen a lot in Hollywood. So that could be really good.
I think that's a good take on it.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see a largely. I'm guessing what was his name?
Shang-Chi.
Chong-Chi.
Right.
Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Chong-Chi. You just sound real racist.
So I was gonna say, I guess he's Chinese. So see a mainly Chinese cast on a superhero movie, I think would be pretty cool. And I just hope, like with Black Panther, that it's done really well and turns out to be a good movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as they do it well, and Marvel's got a pretty good track record of doing this type of stuff pretty well. So I'm not too worried about it. I think they'll do well with it. And to me, even besides the making a mostly Asian cast movie, I want them to keep making movies about obscure characters that people don't know anything about. Because I think it keeps it fresh. That way people don't get tired of seeing the superhero movies. Because, Shang-Chi is probably going to be a Kung Fu movie, considering he's the master of Kung Fu. So, it's different than what we've gotten before, so it keeps us into their universe.
Man, it'd be perfect if they have a scene where, they talking in Chinese, but they have the English voiceovers.
Okay. Don't.
Wow, that would be
Welcome
funny.
to my dojo. And then the mouth keep moving.
Or just make they put the little sound effects over, like their punches and kicks. So, you kick somebody, it makes, that whipping sound. Whoosh, whoosh.
Like the real old Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
No.
No, Doreen, you don't agree with this?
No, y'all some dummies. They're not about to be a 1970s kung fu movie. Although,
You don't think that would make money? I think it would.
y'all don't.
It'll probably get
Not at
critically
all.
destroyed, though, but still.
It would.
However, they said they're going to do none of the Asian stereotypes. So, Derek, I feel like that kind of crushes your dream of that movie, because I think that's a stereotype.
That is definitely a stereotype.
Yeah, so that's probably not going to happen. Speaking of obscure movies, though, Warner Brothers are going to be doing the similar thing as they work on a Blue Beetle movie.
I think that'd be kind of cool. I actually like the Blue Beetle character. I don't know, what's his name? Jaime something Morales. Is it no? That was Spider-Man. What's his name?
Morales is Spider-Man. What is his name? I don't know. He's.
I know his last name is Reyes.
Reyes. Robert Reyes? No.
Either way,
I don't know.
I do like
his
that
last
Blue Beetle
name is
character.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's Reyes. I couldn't think of his full name.
I think, isn't it Jaime Reyes then?
Jaime. Okay, and somebody look this
I'll
up.
find out. I'm looking it up because we're killing it right now.
You mean killing it as in knocking them dead? Wink.
We're not doing him any justice.
Okay.
Oh.
Y'all both stupid. Again. Either way, regardless of what his name is, I do like the character, and I think it can be good, although I feel like DC is going to screw it up because that's what they do.
Doreen
Jamie
was correct.
Reyes.
That's not Jamie. If he's Spanish, she's right. It's Jaime. Jaime.
So what would his name be? Jaime?
Yeah. Reyes. No, actually, that's correct.
Right, y'all don't.
No, that's
I know my
correct.
Spanish.
It's I-E-A-O-U.
What is it, D?
I-A-E-O-U. Excuse me. So...
Yes, those are the vibes.
Those are the vowels, so it would be Jaime.
That's what I said.
Whatever. You just said it was wrong after we said it.
No, I did not say you were wrong. I said I know my Spanish, and I was pronouncing it right.
All right, so she was pronouncing it right. So Blue Beetle movie, I think that's pretty cool. I think Warner Brothers should focus on some of the smaller heroes and get away from whatever they're doing with the other ones. Just forget them, forget Batman, forget Superman. Wonder Woman's doing well, maybe keep her, and focus on some other lesser heroes.
Yeah. I'm want a decent Green Lantern movie.
I was going to say, I thought I read somewhere that they were working on one with both Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. Or at least that was their idea.
Like a buddy cop movie?
But is that what they were doing?
Yeah, I think so. It was going to be like a buddy cop movie with the two Green Lanterns.
Oh, no, that's a horrible idea.
What, you don't like buddy cop movies?
Do y'all?
Well, it's going to be like the other guys with Green Lantern.
Yeah, well, they said Thor Ragnarok was supposed to be kind of like a buddy cop movie.
I don't see it.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't see how that's a buddy cop movie.
I don't know. All right, fine, but I mean, they could probably do a good one. I mean, yeah, Green Lantern, Rush Hour with Green Lantern rings. Sounds good to me. No?
Okay.
Can't you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh, Lord. We don't need another Rush Hour. I think they're working on one of those, too.
Really?
Why? The third one was so bad.
I don't know.
I thought Jackie Chan retired.
And the second one wasn't that good either.
Oh, I thought he retired. Is he not retired? Or is that Jet Li that's retired?
I'm pretty sure Jackie Chan's retired.
I thought Jackie Chan was retired. That's all. You can't do another Rush Hour.
Yeah. I don't know.
You definitely can't do Rush Hour without him.
No,
You
man.
can't do
Just
it without Chris Tucker.
you just get some unnamed Asian kung fu actor, and there you go.
Hey, maybe you can use the same guy that they're using for the Master of Kung Fu.
Right. See, you got to get some unnamed Asian kung fu actor for that, right?
Considering for that, it's not really unnamed. They've been in other stuff.
All right, fine, whatever.
Oh, okay. We just don't know.
Well, they've been in stuff like we don't watch. Like I think one guy is from like The Walking Dead, and a guy is. They've been in stuff, but nothing that we watch.
Okay, so in other bad movie idea news, there is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie in the works.
I heard about that.
Live action.
Is this not a? This is not an. God, I can't even talk. Like live action or
Yes.
like cartoon?
Yeah, live action.
Live action.
Yeah.
Are they doing this because of the Pikachu thing?
I don't know. I mean, I think I heard of this a while ago, so I'm not sure if it's a reaction to that. But my question is why? Like, Sonic, though? I don't want to see a live action Sonic movie. I'm sorry.
There's no people in Sonic except for Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
Jaleel White still going to voice Sonic?
Oh, God. I don't think he's voiced Sonic for a long time. So, yeah, that's... Can we stop doing this? Can we just stop making random movies out of all these different characters? Like, good characters, yes, make a movie out of it. In Sonic, while I love the games, he's not a movie character. I don't want to see a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog.
I want to say this about that, too. You know, we don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore, or there's barely any cartoons. But they want to take all the cartoons that we grew up watching and turn it into movies.
Yeah, well, it's because it's 90s nostalgia now. Like, it was 80s nostalgia a few years ago, and now they've moved into the 90s. So that's why we're getting all this 90s stuff coming back. You know, hence Transformers and Men in Black. Well, Transformers was 80s.
Yeah, it was.
But you're getting all that. So now they're trying to hit on the 90s nostalgia. That's what's happening.
But it only works if people want to see it. Like, I don't want to see a Sonic movie. I mean, it's pointless. I mean, even if you think about the game was the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Like, it doesn't need a movie.
It does not need a movie at all. Yeah, so I don't know. Just stop. Like, okay, and I know my reaction was the same when they announced the Detective Pikachu movie, and I know I've changed on it, but still, I don't see what you can do with Sonic. At least they have something to go off of with the Detective Pikachu movie. What do you have to go off of here?
I don't know. The cartoon?
Maybe.
No, the cartoon was stupid.
I don't know, but we'll see. I forget who's making it. So,
is it Sony?
It is your dreaded nemesis, Sony.
I'm gonna have to look it up now, because if it's Sony, I know why they're making it. It's the same people that made the Emoji movie. Because making a movie about emojis is a good idea. Apparently, so
maybe they did that because what was the name of that movie about the emotions?
Inside Out. They did do that
Yeah.
in reaction to that because that was a really good movie. But here's the thing, that was Pixar.
That's why it was a good movie.
Apparently it's coming out next year. So they've been working
coming
on
out
this for a
next year?
while. The Sonic movie.
So then there should be a trailer, right? Shouldn't it be a trailer for it then?
November next year.
Oh, that is probably a trailer probably coming up in a few months.
Yeah, no, this is Paramount.
Paramount.
Really?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean,
That is.
they make some good movies. Oh, you know what? They're sticking it with their video game stuff, right? Because they made Transformers. That's a TV show / toy / video game. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess.
Okay, well, we'll see.
We'll see what happens there. But talking about Paramount, see, that was an excellent segue. Oh, that's awesome. So, the Bumblebee movie, is it actually good? Apparently, it has a 98% positive review from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.5 out of 10 average score from critics. So, it seems like it's a decent movie according to the critics.
Yeah, the early reviews I've been saying that is actually really good, and it's probably like the best Transformer movie since the first one. So, which was what, like 10 years ago or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe longer.
But they're saying it's good.
Yeah, and I think it's something to say that this is coming from the critics because they have destroyed these Transformer movies because they were nothing but just explosions and like girls.
True.
So
yeah, and I mean, I got tired of them. By the third one, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last two, and I remember the one I was watching in the theater, and I left the theater because I was like, this is dumb. I can't take this anymore. I feel my brain cells dying. It was stupid. So yeah, so apparently they actually did a good job with that, and hey, maybe this is a turnaround for the Transformers franchise.
Or maybe Transformers should not be a franchise. You should have just stuck with the first one and left it alone.
Yeah.
Like, why is this a franchise?
Well, I could see making a franchise out of Transformers.
I don't think. I think you did it once. It was done well. It was like, oh, yay, this is good. And you should have just left it like that.
Yeah. Well, I think I heard that they were trying to like do a crossover with like G.I. Joe because technically they're in the same world.
G.I. Joe's not.
The G.I. Joe movies
sucks.
Were horrible.
Yeah, my God. And then that last one they did, and they just stuck all the big names in it like that was going to make it a better movie.
I know. Bruce Willis, Channing Tatum, a few other people. I'm just like, really, y'all?
Well, Channing Tatum.
Really? So y'all put all these actors in there?
He died in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he did.
He does.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what?
Yep.
And I thought like it was a fake out, like he was coming back or something, and it was just like, no, he dead.
Yeah, I did think he was. I did thought he was coming back though, for real.
I was like, all right, then I guess this is a little weird. He was the main character.
Yeah, I guess he's really dead. Right. On the credits and everything.
Yeah.
As like the main character. I mean, that's like having a Batman movie and Batman dies in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right. Yeah, that. I wouldn't put it past Warner Brothers, though. They would do something like that. Some lighter news. The Russo brothers, the directors of Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and the upcoming Avengers Endgame, they made a small comment because they were asked what would they think is the hardest superhero to bring to the screen, and they said Superman would be the most difficult comic book character to make a movie about.
Well, considering that we really haven't had a great Superman movie, must be true.
It's hard to make a movie about somebody that can do anything.
Well, I think you got to get his villain correct. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably the strongest person on Earth, but a lot of the people he fight, like, you got people like Lobo and Darkseid or whatever, like, they can hand it to him.
True.
And I think if you do that, then he just won't be overpowerful in a movie.
Yeah, because I think that was kind of one of the many flaws with Justice League was that, you know, they revived Superman, and then that was just the answer. It was like, oh, Superman's back, so nobody else is needed. He could have solved that whole issue by himself. And that's kind of what happened.
I think what watch a couple of Justice League Unlimited episodes and find out how the Justice League all work together, and then do that, because obviously these guys can't figure it out.
Yeah, get some of those
They
writers.
definitely can't.
Yeah, get some of the writers from the cartoon to write the movie. Why not?
I mean, the introduction to the villains and the cast of the villains be horrible. I'm like, how can you never get Lex Luthor right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they don't get Lex Luthor right. That's one of the greatest villains, too. And that is upsetting, not seeing a good portrayal of Lex Luthor on the big screen, which we're probably not going to get now because of these recent slate of movies. It's going to be a while before they're able to reset all that. You know?
That's fine. As long as when you reset it, you do it right. You know, I would like to see, like, Brainiac done. And they might have did it with some of the old ones. I don't know. But I think Brainiac would be, like, a good one to try to put on the screen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm like, come on, y'all. It's 2018. Our best Superman movies cannot be with Christopher Reeves.
That's
like,
true.
Come on.
They're a little old now. Like, they're outdated. And they're still comparatively the best movies that we've had about Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because that Superman Returns, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's just so many things in there that didn't make sense. Like how Lois is like 23 years old and she's like, you know, a journalism prize winner, but you got this 5-year. I'm like, so you were 18, but you were like the top journalist for the Daily Planet, and then Superman just left you with this kid? Like,
yeah, that
didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And then Man of Steel, which it was okay, but you didn't get the character right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as a movie, I would say, yeah, it's better than the old Superman movies, but it doesn't get Superman right.
Right. And I think the main thing about Superman movies, you got to capture the essence of Superman in these movies. And the Man of Steel definitely did not do that. They failed big time on doing that.
Yeah, this Superman is Batman in a Superman suit.
Basically.
Everything's sad and dark.
But they even screwed up his parents. I'm like, how you mess up
stupid dad?
When he saved the kids in the school bus, and basically his dad was like, you should let the kids die. And I was just
I'm like, what kind of stuff is that?
I know, so dark. So dark.
Like, yeah, maybe you should have let them die.
Like, no. First of all, there was a better way to save the kids, which I didn't understand. Like, you didn't have to lift the bus out of the water. You could have opened the door.
Or he could have lifted it out of the water, but from underneath the bus.
I just felt like he could have opened the door and helped them all swim up, and it would have been less suspicious than someone lifting a bus out of water. It was just stupid.
I didn't analyze it all like that, but I mean, I just was like, okay, he saved them. Just leave it be.
Yeah, so that was horrible. And then telling him not to save him. Like, oh, don't save me. Like, what kind of mess was that?
Yeah.
Like, dying in a tornado was like something calm. I'm sorry, dude. You got towed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would have been sucked off the ground well before it got to him. Yeah, but actually, they all would have died because they went under a bridge, which is not what you're supposed to do when a tornado is coming down.
That's like a vacuum, and they all would have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would have caused a vacuum, and they would have got basically smashed. Or crushed.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, didn't like Man of Steel.
It was an okay movie.
It wasn't bad.
Talking about franchises that aren't doing the best, Jurassic World. So, Jurassic World 3, the directors commented that the movie is not going to be about dinosaurs running around terrorizing a city. The dinosaurs are instead going to be living around the cities, and it's kind of going to be like, you know, if you go camping, you have a chance to run into a bear. So now in this universe, you know, you go into the woods or something like that, you have a chance of running into a dinosaur.
Okay. So it kind of reminds me a lot of how Lost World started off, where people were like vacationing on an island and dinosaurs come out the forest and eat people. So like that.
We're probably going to get some of that, which I'm hoping is not as heavy-handed, because Fallen Kingdom, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but they were real heavy-handed on the references to the old Jurassic Park movie. Like, it was just blatant.
That's one of the reasons why I did not like it. I felt like it was just too much. Like, a subtle nod here or there, fine. But it was just, I mean, it was like whole scene grabs, and I didn't like it.
The title fit the movie very well, because it definitely failed the kingdom of Jurassic Park.
You were sitting on that one, weren't you?
Whatever. I was not.
You're not even a dad, and you're making dad puns. Let's not, man. Oh, boy. Talking about fallen franchises. Man, the segues this week are on point. The Netflix Marvel series. We talked a little bit about how Daredevil was canceled recently, and it was one of the highest performing shows on Netflix, yet it was still canceled, which makes you go,
Yeah, it just, to me, I think it just says that Marvel wanted their stuff back, and Netflix was like, okay, give us a X amount of dollars and you can have it back. And I feel like that's what it was. Although I did read somewhere that in their contract, they cannot appear as that character for 2 years. Yep. So if Marvel do want it, it'll be a while before we see them again.
Yeah, that's the information I had. So somewhere in there, once the show is canceled, like Doreen was saying, they can't show up in a film or TV show for 2 years. So this makes me think that it is Marvel, because since they're getting all of these characters back, I felt like they wanted to start the clock on that as soon as possible. So they're cutting these shows off now. Even though Daredevil did excellent, I feel like they're cutting it off at this point so that that 2 year clock can start, so that they can pick them up and start using these characters again.
Yeah.
That's just my theory. This isn't, no one said that it's Marvel, but it kind of seems like it is, because I don't see Netflix canceling these,
It's Marvel.
But the only problem with this is whether or not when we get these characters again, you're going to be able to get the same actors and crew members and stuff like that to do the shows again. So,
well, I feel like the actors are definitely, unless they get busy on other projects, are definitely open to reviving their roles, especially the Charlie Cox and I can't think of the guy who played Luke Cage's name. But like,
what is his name?
Yeah.
Mike something.
Coulter?
Collier?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, so they said like they will like to do it again. So barring, something major happening in 2 years, I feel like Marvel could retain some of the people, if not all.
Yeah. Let's hope that they give Vincent D'Onofrio back.
Yeah.
I'll be back. That'll be great.
Dude, having Kingpin with a Spider-Man, that'll be dope.
Yeah, if they still have Spider-Man by the time that happens. I'm not even going to go off on that tangent, but we all know how stupid Sony is. I'm going to leave it at that.
You're right.
So, yeah. So, to me, it sounds like it's Marvel. Let's hope they can get some of these actors back, and I would like to see what they're going to do with them. I mean, I guess it's one good thing. Now the shows can be more integrated in the universe, because they really seem separate.
Yeah.
Besides, like, a throwaway line here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Netflix wanted to make it their own, but since, they had it with Marvel, they had to have make some reference of some connection or whatever.
Yeah. Alrighty, so next bit of small news. Kate Shortland, who was a director who was in the talks to direct the Black Widow movie, but she wasn't selected. Seems like she's a little salty because she stated that Marvel told her not to worry about the action scenes in the movie, and she implied that Marvel doesn't trust women to make action scenes.
I read that, and I read the whole article, and I was just like, you just bitter because they went with someone else. That, to me, I didn't get the fact that Marvel said we don't want a woman to do it. I felt like Marvel said, we have what we like, and we want to do it this way, so we just want you to develop the story. And I felt like she got, like, in her feelings about this.
Yeah, to me, there was nothing... Like, I wasn't there, so, I mean, as a disclaimer, maybe they really were like that. But to me, looking at the information that we have, it seems like basically, like you said during Marvel's just like, hey, we have a certain way we want to do this. And whether she was male or female, they probably would have told them that they would cover it. Or maybe it was the kind of director she is. So,
yeah.
Because I looked into her history, I don't have it up here, but she doesn't have any action directing history. So maybe it was just her they didn't trust to do the action scenes.
Yeah, that's what I got. Because, like, the movies, it was like movies I heard of, but she doesn't do action movies, and maybe, you know, she can do it, but I feel like Marvel did not want to be her first action movie. Marvel don't like failure, so the fact that she hasn't done it before, I can see them not trusting her and her only, not because she's a woman, but her not doing it.
Right. And
I agree.
When they say they'll handle it, I feel like that they were going to work with her, saying like, okay, here's what we want, especially since it's Black Widow, which is a character that's been established for a while, so you can't really change her fighting style and what she does that much because her character's already established. So, you know, and then what really makes it seem like she was just salty over not getting the job is that she complained about the special effects in Marvel movies, saying it was bad with so many laser lights, which seems odd. And because, you know, we're talking about a Black Widow movie, which to me is along the lines of a Winter Soldier movie, which is not a movie that's going to have a bunch of laser light battles in it. Like, so I don't know why she even bring that up. Like, they're going to have a CGI battle at the end of a Black Widow movie. That doesn't even make sense.
Right. I was just like, what movie has lasers? Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Right.
I guess Black Panther did.
She sounds really salty to me. That's what is coming out to be.
Also, she basically said the soundtracks were horrible, and I quote, "It's painful to the ears to watch a Marvel movie."
I like their soundtrack.
Yeah.
He's a hater.
I'm like, at the least, their soundtracks are unnoticeable, which in a way is kind of the way you want it. You don't want it to stand out so much.
DC.
Yeah. It should add to the movie. Like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, excellent. Adds to the movie. Black Panther soundtrack, excellent. Adds to the movie. So I don't know why she's like it's painful to the ears. That's the first time I heard somebody say that.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know what to say about that.
So, yeah, Kate Shortland, I'm sorry you didn't get the job. It's okay. Let's not blame them being sexist for something as small as. Because I'm pretty sure if it was a male director with the same background you had, they would have told him the exact same thing. Just saying.
Who's directing Captain Marvel? Is it a woman directing Captain Marvel?
Yeah. I forget her name.
It'd be interesting if they told her the same thing. You know what I mean?
And, you know, she didn't come out and complain about anything. So it's two. It's a man and a woman. Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden. And then, let's see, Anna Boden, what has she done in the past? Oh, they look like they're a group director, maybe? Do they do stuff together? I don't know. She did Room 104. She did a bunch of TV stuff.
I just brought it up because I was just wondering, like, if this... You know, if Marvel would have told her the same thing, then maybe Marvel is being sexist. Yeah. But she definitely didn't seem to be complaining, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Her and Ryan Fleck are dating, so they're doing the movie together. They're kind of like the Russo brothers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. So if we use that as an example, though, I'm pretty sure people will just say, "Oh, well, that's because her boyfriend's doing the movie with her." So,
of course,
so
that would be their reasoning.
So yeah, we can't really use that as an example. Maybe if we get some other female-only directors in there, we can actually see how Marvel handles it. Fans have a petition, of course, because they always do, to make 4th movies for Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. So they want a 4th iteration of each one of those characters. And I say no. Do not do that.
No, I say no. I feel like the way they've ended, it ended perfectly. And like if we get them to continue on, group movies, that is fine. But I don't think they need a 4th movie on either one of those.
I agree. I don't think so either. I'm all for of like them being in other movies, like how like Iron Man was in Spider-Man Homecoming. Like doing stuff like that with other heroes that are like starting to be established in the MCU. I would rather see that than a full-fledged, their own movie canon, the 4th one.
I'm against doing another movie for these characters as well. I think they're done. I mean, there's no need to do any more. Iron Man, we've seen him in plenty of things. I think his story completed through the other movies. Captain America. Only person I could see possibly doing more for is Thor, but I still don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't either. I agree. I feel like Iron Man's story has been told. I feel like Captain America's story has been told. I get that, they're good characters. You really don't want to see them go, but to do a 4th movie just for the sake of doing a 4th movie, it does add no benefit to it.
Yeah, none whatsoever. So, and like I've always been saying, I'm all for Marvel doing movies about characters that, lesser known characters that we haven't heard of so much. So, if they want to stay making billion-dollar movies, I think they need to. And, of course, Marvel probably knows this already. But they need to move on. You've got to get new characters in and do fresh things. Otherwise, it just gets boring. Alrighty, so at this point in the podcast, we're going to go ahead and talk about Aquaman. We got to see it early in theaters because, we're fancy, smashy, special people. Or
recognize.
Or we just have Amazon Prime. One of those two things. Whatever. So we did get to see an early screening of it. So we've seen the movie. We'll let you know what we think about it. First, we're going to start doing this without any spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you can stay for this part. We'll try our best not to do any spoilers. If you don't want to run into anything at all, I would say stay away from it. And then we'll get into the spoiler review later on in the episode. And we'll clearly say when we're going to talk about spoilers. Before we get into the movie, though, I'd like to talk about the critic rating, or the critical rating so far that Aquaman has. On Rotten Tomatoes, as of today, it sits at 70%. But the tomato meter, as I always say, isn't something to go off of. I like to look at the average rating, and it looks like the critics are giving it a 6.2 out of 10, which is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it doesn't mean it's like horrible, but that says that the movie is okay. And then we'll go ahead and give our thoughts and scores on the movie as well later on. So that's where it sits at Rotten Tomatoes for the critics. When it comes out in theaters, we'll see what the audiences think. But until then, we can just give you our thoughts. First, overall, Doreen, I already know what your answer is, but what did you think?
I'm going to upgrade it to like an okay, but I just remember sitting there wishing it would end. I wasn't a fan.
I can agree with that sentiment. I'll probably jump into that a little later. Derek, what did you think about it overall?
Overall, I say it was okay. For me, Aquaman is just not a good superhero character. So it's like there's nothing to me that you can do in an Aquaman movie that is just going to be like, oh man, I want to watch this movie. It's just Aquaman sucks as a character.
Yeah, Aquaman's a hard character to make a good movie out of, I guess. Which I don't understand because Submariner is awesome. So you would think Aquaman should be awesome too, right?
You would think.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the comic book universes altogether, Aquaman is it's not the business. He's not it. That ain't it, Chief. All right. Okay, so my overall thoughts, it's okay. Like you guys said, I did have some fun with parts of the movie. You know, it was all right. I'm not going to go back in theaters. I'm not going to see it again. Well, I might because my wife wants to see it. But besides that, like if my wife didn't want to see it, I wouldn't go back to the theater to see the movie. If it's on Netflix, sure, I'll watch it.
I wouldn't. I never want to see this again, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be willing to watch it again.
Yeah. Among the DC movies, what would you say? How is it ranked?
Are we only ranking the current DC movies?
Current
or
DC
all
movies.
of them?
It's unfair to do all of them. Current one.
Better than Batman versus Superman?
Better than
But
Justice
that's
League
it?
too.
I have it better than Batman. Oh, it's definitely better than Justice League.
Okay.
So
I have a second tied with Man of Steel.
I could give you that. Yeah, I could give you that. So Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, Aquaman, and then the rest of the trash. Because the rest of it is just trash.
It is.
Okay. And in comparison to the Marvel movies, I know when we came out of the theater yesterday, we said it was better than Incredible Hulk. But, today, after sleeping on it, I would have to say it's better than Thor: The Dark World as well.
I'm with you on that.
Like,
I am with you on that. Yes.
If you gave me only two options and it's like, you got to watch a movie, Thor: The Dark World or Aquaman, I'm watching Aquaman. So
I agree.
So yeah, it's better than those two movies, at least in comparison to the Marvel movies. All right, let's talk about actual reasons behind it. Now, Doreen, when you were talking, you commented that you were just waiting for it to be over. I did feel like the movie went a little bit long. It did seem to drag a little bit. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
I did, and the thing is, runtime is definitely shorter than the Marvel movies. It felt long because I just felt like it wasn't, I don't know, it just couldn't keep my interest the entire time. And I think maybe because just the climax at the end to me just wasn't really all that fantastic. It kind of fell flat to me, so I just felt like, just hurry up and get to the point, and the stuff in the middle, it dragged.
I agree.
Yeah, like when you said the climax fell flat, part of the reason why I think that happened, and this is just my personal opinion, but like I said it yesterday when we were walking out of the theater, like the score kept swelling up throughout the movie like something special was going to happen, and I felt like it took away from the actual special things that happen. Because it'll just keep swelling up and then nothing. Oh, it swells up, then it's nothing. And it's like, that just, now I'm not interested, So, I felt...
It was, like, anticlimactic.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That was that?
Well, I feel like DC in all their movies are very heavy-handed on their music. And
Oh my goodness!
Which
The
sometimes
music.
is really good because I mean, look at the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises. Those scores were excellent. It actually put you in the movie and made you feel the emotions they wanted you to feel.
right, but since we're talking about this current set of DC movies, I feel like they've all been very heavy-handed on their music. You know, it's kind of like you watch a James Bond movie and they're gonna do the theme song. It's like, okay, this is his car chase scene with the theme song playing in the background. I feel like it adds to it. DC
Right.
to me, I feel like they do it too much. It's incredibly loud, and I don't like it. I feel like I spend more time like, oh, there goes that theme song again,
Right.
than like enjoying it.
Yeah, and then I felt like some of them didn't fit in. Like, I think Aquaman's theme, I can't really point out what it is, but I think it's got like some kind of a rock type of background in it, like with a guitar.
Yeah.
And I think they played it during the final fight he had, and it didn't fit. You know, it didn't seem like it fit in. That's going back to, like, I like Wonder Woman's theme now. Like, I think it's an excellent theme. But when I first heard it in Batman vs. Superman, it was so disjointed from that movie that I was just like, that's terrible. It's terrible music. I don't know why they have her theme as this, because it just took away from the movie so much. But in her movie, where it was implemented, it was perfect. And it enhanced the scene, like you said. So I think, not that the music's bad, and I don't want people to get confused that I'm saying the score is bad music. It's not bad music. I just think they don't have things in the right spots.
I agree. I definitely are on you on that page, because like watching it yesterday, it's just like every time music came up, I instantly was just like, really? You know, I feel like it wasn't subtle. It's just like, I feel like when you're watching a movie, you're supposed to be like, oh, yeah, there was this played during this. Or somebody be like, yeah, did you know Kendrick Lamar's song was played during this scene? And I'm supposed to be like, right. Not know I'm watching the movie and just like, oh, this is a Kendrick Lamar song. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like it takes away from the scene. It takes away from the movie.
Right. It's got to be implemented right. I didn't see this movie, but people talk about Baby Driver, and apparently the music in that movie is so on point. And that's pop music that they're playing throughout it, but it just goes with the story so well that it meshes perfectly. And that's the type of thing you need.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that is definitely like correct with that. I felt, thinking back on it, the music fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of be like the music you hear in the store where you hear it but don't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where it'll be weird if it wasn't there, but it's not distracting. And I feel like Aquaman's song music or whatever was distracting.
Yeah, it distracted from the movie. But overall, the writing of the movie, I thought that they did a good job with storytelling. I think the premise behind the movie was good. Some parts were executed as well, but like we were comparing this movie to Venom. Now, I commented on Venom before that I had lots of fun with the movie, but the movie was definitely stupid. None of the writing in that movie made sense. In this movie, comparatively, I would have to say Aquaman is a better movie than Venom because it had competent writing, and I do have to give it props for that. At least the writing was very good in it.
It was well written. I will say that.
No, I was thinking like, no, I would get that. It wasn't. I didn't feel like it was dumb. I didn't feel like it was a, bad story or whatever. It just the movie as a whole just didn't come together. If that makes sense.
Come together right now. I'm sorry, that was the theme song for Suicide Squad. If you was that Justice League? That was Justice League.
Was it?
Yeah, in the trailers. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Justice League is one of those movies I want to forget I saw.
I tried to rewatch it. I got halfway through the movie, and I was like, never mind. Funny thing, I actually rewatched BVS.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually watch it sometimes if it comes on TV and there's nothing else.
Well, you have to admit it's better than Justice League. So,
dude, there's a lot better than Justice League.
So, all right. So yeah, Aquaman's writing was very good. Acting, I'm gonna give. It was good sometimes. Let's put it that way. Actually, I don't think there were bad actors. I just think...
Yeah, I feel like it seemed to like deliver their lines kind of flat, and I don't know if it's how the people of Atlantis is supposed to talk or whatever. They always seem bored.
That to me, when it's everybody, seems more like the director than the actors. You know?
Yeah.
I felt like his brother had some real cliche villain lines.
Oh.
His stepbrother, Ocean Master.
Yeah.
That was his half brother.
Half brother, sorry.
Yeah, not his stepbrother.
Yeah, he had some cliche villain moments, I felt like. Which is fine, you could have that in the movie, but I was just like, really, dude? But yeah, and then I think Jason Momoa, Aquaman, some of his lines too, it was a bit disjointed. I mean, it wasn't out of character for whatever character they made for Aquaman in this universe, which is odd. It wasn't out of character, but at times I was like, really, that joke right now? You know?
Yeah.
I think the problem was that the jokes weren't funny.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem was. Not that he made a joke, it's that it just wasn't funny.
Yeah. Now, and the problem with saying stuff like that is that's up to the person watching the movie. Obviously, we didn't find the movie funny, but I guess other people will. So we'll have to see what the crowds say when this hits the theaters. Do they think it's funny or do they think it's not? I didn't think it was, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think there were parts where I laughed at, but it was like probably not at parts where regular people would have laughed.
It wasn't supposed to be funny, but you found it funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, now let's talk about the CGI. Now, for the most part, this movie was excellent. Like the scenery, especially like Atlantis and everything, that looked great. I feel. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I feel like it looked okay, but I feel like it didn't. You know how like when they first showed Asgard, and Asgard was like this whole world and it's pretty, or like when they first showed Wakanda, I felt like Atlantis, it wasn't bad CGI, but it didn't give me that same like this is like this world you created, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I think I understand.
But I feel though that trying to like have the whole premise of everything like being underwater is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to comment on, because some of the CGI for the characters, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's definitely noticeable. Like, at some points, they look kind of like PS4 or Xbox One game characters. And I'm not saying that, like, in a mean way, because, like you were saying, it's putting that whole thing underwater is really difficult. So I kind of am inclined to give them a bit of a pass on some of it, because I felt like if they were doing a different movie, that this CGI would have been on point. It's definitely not Steppenwolf CGI. That was horrible. It's definitely better than that. It was just at times the characters' CGI didn't really work that well to me while I was watching the movie. But they did a good job, I would have to say, for the type of movie they had to do. Alrighty, everybody. I think that's all we have to say about the movie without spoiling anything. So I guess we can get into spoilers here. First, before we do that, what would you guys rate the movie out of 10?
I would give it a 5.
Alright, Doreen says 5.
I give it a 6.
All right, Derek says 6 out of 10. After sleeping on it, I did wake up liking the movie better than I did walking out of the theater. So I will give it a 6.5 out of 10. So
You're so ridiculous.
What? I wanted to give it a little bump. I don't think it deserves a 7, but I think
no, because a 7 would make it good, and I don't think it's good.
So 6.5.
Okay.
Right? That's fair. Right?
Okay, a 6.5.
So I think our consensus is that the movie is okay. Not bad, not great, but good. So if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. So with that being said, spoiler alert for the movie from here on out. If you haven't seen Aquaman, then don't listen to this, definitely. If you do and you get spoiled, that's on you, not on me. So from that point, let's talk about the movie. So it started off with like a little backstory on his mom and dad, which I think was decent. I just like they were showing the story and they had Aquaman narrating over it, and I don't think his narration was necessary. I think the audience would have understood just by watching what was going on there.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with the narration, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. The narration wasn't necessary. You could have showed that scene without narration.
Yeah, they did have an interesting action shot in that too when his mom Atlanta was fighting the Atlantis soldiers, and they did kind of like a one shot action scene, you know, where like it was in a cut in the camera.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting. It wasn't quite like you got on the Netflix shows, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that the fight scene wasn't necessary again, but how it was shot, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I did think it was weird. I thought this in the theater. So they wanted to take her back to Atlantis, and she beat them all up, and then she chose to go back to Atlantis anyway. So I was like, so why fight them? Just go. Like, what was the point of fighting them? The better move probably would be to concede and just go back with them, right?
Yeah.
That was my thought also during the movie. Like, I was like, so that is she saying like, oh, I have to go back? And then I'm like, you could have just left. Instead, now there's holes in your walls and stuff. And I'm like, it was very pointless.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to do an action scene. And I do feel like sometimes, because did you guys feel like throughout this movie, there was too much of a surprise action scene?
Oh my, I wanted to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. It annoyed me to no end that every time someone's talking and then a wall blows up behind them. And they did it like 4 or 5 times. And I was like, the first time you did it, it was okay.
Yeah, I think.
But they kept doing it.
Yeah, like a couple of times in a movie, it's fine, but it was like, it got overdone. It was like every time someone was having a conversation, like the first time it was happening, like I was like, oh, wow, I didn't expect that, you know. Like, okay,
yeah.
It takes you into the action scene, which was good. But then after a while, it was just like, okay, this person's having a conversation, and then boom. And it's like, why? Like, geez, how come they're always attacked by somebody? Like, that was, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, I found that highly annoying, and I just felt like, why are we recycling the same kind of scene over and over again?
Yeah. I think Doreen, you said you didn't like this, but I did like the character of Black Manta in the movie. I thought he was actually,
I did too.
I thought he was more interesting than his half brother. Like to the point where I wish he was the main villain rather than kind of the side one.
Yeah. I really liked his character as well.
Well, I didn't like his motivation behind it. It didn't make any sense. Then I just feel like when you had a chance to like do some serious damage, he didn't, which I guess is all villains in all movies because otherwise they will win. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It was silly.
I mean, all villains do stupid things. Like if you really think about it, even going back to Infinity War, Thanos could have taken everybody out, right? But he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he eventually did, but you know what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
that kind of happens in all movies. So I don't really fault him for that. You got to have some kind of conflict. But I liked him. I actually liked the way he looked. I mean, when you compare him to his comic book counterpart, I thought he looked really good. But I don't know if everybody agrees with that.
I liked how he looked, and how it was. I thought so. In the comic book, I think he looks really dumb.
You think he looked dumb in the movie? I mean, like, I know it's true to the comic.
Well, yeah, it's a stupid
just
look,
looks stupid.
but I thought they executed it really well.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they came up with, how he got the suit. Like, so no one exactly gave him that. He modified some Atlantis technology and created it himself. And I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting take, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was.
As at the end of the movie, that Chinese guy he's talking, is he in the comic or is he just extra?
I don't know who that is.
Anyone else?
And I don't read Aquaman.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't know who that is either.
I was just wondering if he was
No
just someone they
idea.
made up or if he was leading to someone special.
I mean, that would have to be something I would have to look into, because I don't know.
I'm going to say he's probably somebody because, a lot of times these characters be like deep cuts from the comic book. So, most likely he is someone from the comics, I would say. It's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Wondering because that guy is off of that TV show Fresh Off the Boat, and I just felt like it'd been really random if he would just had like a 5-minute part in the movie. So I was just wondering if he was leading to something bigger.
I don't know. We'll see if they make a sequel. They're probably going to make a sequel to this because
They probably will.
I imagine it's going to make some money.
Yeah. Well, overseas, they said it has made a lot of money.
Yeah, in China, it made a lot of money. In the U.S., I figure only problem is, what's going to hurt it? Deadpool.
Yeah. Once Upon a Deadpool.
That's going to hurt it. That's definitely going to hurt those sales. Because, I mean, come on, people are going to go watch Deadpool. So, yeah, that might hurt it. But it should do decent enough, I would believe. Mira, I don't know. I had an issue with her. I forgot what it was. I don't know. Let's talk about that stupid long kiss at the end of the movie.
With the
fireworks?
explosions and everything going on in the background.
So it's in the middle of a war, a literal war going on, and these two decide to make out in the middle of the war, and then they frame it like the camera spins around them. It lasts for like
Yes.
a minute and a half, and all the explosions in the war start to look like fireworks under the water with
Yeah.
them kissing. I'm like, what? Excuse me. And they don't, it's not just this movie, they do stuff like this in all movies. And it's like,
Yes.
listen, you don't have time to be kissing. Like, I'm just saying, like, what is this?
Right. We got this huge gunfight and shootout, and it's just, thank you for saving me.
If
But,
you
like,
don't
in
make
real
it
life,
back,
this will not
don't
fly.
say- No, I mean, my goodness gracious. So that was ridiculous.
Yes.
The little surprise, I'm going to put that in quotations, with his mom still being alive. I don't know if that was well executed, because I saw that coming like a mile away.
Yeah. Especially since they kept saying your mom died because of you, blah blah blah, and I was like, she's not dead. She's coming back. I thought she was probably like buried in a dungeon somewhere or something. But
Well,
yeah,
when they first mentioned how they killed her, it's like, oh, they threw her in the trenches to be eaten by the trench monsters and whatever. And I was like, okay, well, she did die.
Yep, I agree. It was like, she alive.
Yeah, so that, I mean, I don't know. Did she have a real point? She didn't really have a point. I mean, in the beginning.
no. Well, she had a point at the end because you see at the end when alive, all of a sudden Orm is cool and he don't want to be bad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't like Aquaman because he blamed him for his mom's death.
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't know. I just felt like, well, that's kind of weak. Your mom walk in the door and you don't want to fight anymore? I'm still going to punch you in the face.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of, yeah.
I mean, he's still a Aquaman villain because he still wants to be king. So, I mean, that doesn't change.
Anybody else see this as like Black Panther light?
Kind of.
The story, it's like, wow, that's like the story they told in Black Panther. Which, I mean, before anyone says anything, I'm not saying that they took this story from the Black Panther storyline. No, this is definitely adapted from the comic books. It definitely is.
But yeah, I see what you're saying, that Killmonger's motivation and Orange's motivation are similar.
Yeah. It's supposed to be their birthright to have the kingship and not to the other person.
Yeah.
Although Killmonger is the better villain.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a common story. I mean, how many times do we hear that all the time? You don't even really want to be king. I want to be king. And,
isn't that
it's not your right, it's mine.
That's a Shakespeare
what was that?
Story anyway, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's simple. Yeah, so it has some similarities with that. I don't even know what else to talk about with it. Even there's nothing really to spoil.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
we didn't.
In some shots, his Aquaman suit looked okay. In others, it didn't.
I did not like it. Yeah, did y'all like it when he put on the gold thing? I didn't.
I think the opening scene with
honestly
him when he came out with it, I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. But then, like, with him in action with it, I didn't think it looked good.
Yeah,
honestly, I didn't really care. I didn't. I was just like, okay.
I feel like they made a big deal with him wearing it, and it just, don't wear it again.
It was a big deal because
that's his actual. Yeah.
Like,
well, I get it's his actual suit. It just doesn't look good.
Well, okay. Let's keep this 100, okay? Let's keep this 95 plus 6 or 5.
Oh.
So, the Aquaman suit in the comics is real dumb. It looks stupid. And everybody thought that they wouldn't do that in the movies because his suit looks stupid. So it was a big deal because they were like, no, we're actually going to have a comic accurate suit for him. And while I think they did a good job with it, it still looks dumb.
Right, I'll give you that. It's a stupid suit in a comic. It's a stupid suit in live action.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to make that suit look good. And I was like I said, when he first came out with the trident and everything, I'm like, okay, that looks pretty cool. With him in action on the battlefield, it looked real stupid. Because nobody wears orange and green. Like, I mean, no.
It's Aquaman. That's all I can say is Aquaman.
No, it was...
He's a stupid superhero.
So yeah.
Yeah. But can I say though, my favorite scene is the fight scene on the submarine.
That was a good fight scene.
Yeah, I guess it was a good fight scene.
Yeah.
That was the best scene in the whole.
I could a whole movie,
I wouldn't say in the whole
maybe.
movie. I don't know. I mean, the scene in Italy was pretty good too. The chase scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to think about it. Yeah.
All right.
I still like the submarine scene.
Okay. Right. Well, the good thing about the submarine scene, I thought, like, this is why I felt like it would have been better to have Black Manta as a main villain, because you set it up, and Doreen, whether or not his motivations were stupid or not, it was set up well at that point in the movie. You established what kind of villain he was. He was ruthless. He got his work done, all that. So, and actually, when you talk about character development, it made, like, that scene invested you into Black Manta's story, but he was sat on the sidelines for most of the movie because he wasn't the main villain. And to be honest, I was not that invested in Orm.
Right.
So I think that's part.
And can I go on record to say about also with the submarine, no one investigates this?
What do you mean?
I mean, they get attacked by a submarine shooting them, and no one thinks to, like, oh, it's the surface dwellers. Let's go to war.
Oh, they
That was.
They addressed it in the movie because Mira said it to her father. She was like, "You don't think that's too convenient?" And he knew. He mentioned that he knew that it was fake, but he wanted to go to war with the surface anyway.
Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious. I'm hoping, the movie people didn't think that was a surprise, because as soon as I saw that it was a sub attacking, I'm like, he set this up. Because it makes sense for a sub to be attacking them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was, like you said, it was obvious.
Yeah. And I was worried because in the beginning, they didn't explain on why they were attacking that submarine.
But they said they were pirates.
Yeah.
But,
So, although I don't know what you get out of a sub, but they were pirates, so.
Well, see, that explained why they were getting it. And, yeah, the way it was set up in that scene when the sub attacked him, it was clear. I don't think they were mentioning that as a surprise to the audience, because it was real clear. One, nobody on the surface knows anything about Atlantis, so why would they send a submarine to attack their secret meeting underwater in some abandoned architecture?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, while no one on land even knows where they are, like, at all. Like, no one on land has seen anyone, because in the movie they kept referencing to Aquaman. So Aquaman is the only one that they really know of. The guy was making reference of that, is a group of people or whatever, but no one has seen them. Nobody knows where they are, nothing. So to randomly have a sub attack them is just like, okay, you got to know that this is set up.
Yeah. And then it was clear when, like, okay, so Orm rushes in and takes down the submarine and make himself look real good and stuff like that. And it was like, come on, dude, you set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was clear to me, but I don't think they meant it to be like a secret. I hope not. It seems obvious. Yeah. I guess the last point to make, to me, I thought there was a little. Excuse me. To me, I thought there was a little bit too much exposition in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, characters explaining things, and I didn't think it needed to be explained. I mean, it wasn't overdone like some movies where it's just like all exposition, but I think it was just slightly too much of it, just a little bit too much exposition.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really pay that much attention when they were talking because at that point I didn't care anymore. But maybe.
Yeah, we all know you didn't like the movie. It's okay.
I thought that part. I thought it was fine. Because I felt that they were explaining exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you don't have to explain something if can be clearly visualized, and I don't need you to tell me something I'm looking at?
Right. It's the rule: show don't tell. And in a movie, you show, you don't tell.
Okay. So, I mean, there was a lot of that, especially like when they were like headed to the desert to look for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't overdone. Like, there's movies where it's overdone. Like, The Last Airbender, if you've ever seen that. Horrible.
Nope.
Don't watch it.
I wasn't planning on it.
So, like, it wasn't up to that level. You know, it was just a little bit, in my opinion.
Is it just me, or did it look like they didn't change their clothes in this movie? I know it's like something small, but I just feel like...
I don't know. Is that what we gonna bring up?
I didn't notice that. What? No.
Did it seem like the outfit that they wore when they were at the desert was the same outfit she had on when they were in Italy? And I'm like, you flew from Africa to Italy and y'all ain't changed your clothes? I don't know.
Do they change their clothes?
It's that's so. I mean, you making me think to see. I'm like, do they change clothes at any point in the movie?
You should.
I don't think they did, but I don't know if they should. I don't know what to say about this.
I don't know. It bothered me. I don't know why.
All right, Doreen. You got to be the only person that's like, they didn't change their clothes during the movie. I don't know if this was... That's a nitpick, if there's ever any nitpicks.
I mean, I'm not saying it made the movie bad. I was just saying, like, why is he wearing that same shirt?
Who notices that? All right, apparently. So that's our thoughts on Aquaman. It was a horrible movie because they didn't change their clothes. If you have your own thoughts, let us know. That's going to be our definitive answer, right? That it was bad because they didn't change their clothes. All right. But no, for real, if you want to go see Aquaman, I would say definitely go see it. It was an okay movie. No reason not to see it. Go ahead and form your own opinion about it. If you have any comments and you want to let us know what you thought about it, there are several ways to get in contact with us. For one, you can comment in the comment section in YouTube, which this podcast will be going up on. So make sure you guys check that out and like and subscribe if you liked it. Also, we do have an email address you can reach out to us at, which is 3drivals@gmail.com. That's the number 3drivals@gmail.com. Also, if you like the podcast and you want to support it, you can become a patron, which will give you access to our Discord server where you can directly speak with us there on the server, and also it will allow you to listen to the podcast live if you so choose to do so. So make sure you check that out. It's patreon.com/3drivals, and you can become a patron and join the Discord server. Other than that, I think that's it for this week, unless you two have anything else you want to mention?
Nope.
Well, as always, go Browns.
Yeah, I'm glad your mic cut out on that point, because nobody wants to hear what you have to say about that. Anyway, so thanks you guys for listening to the podcast. Check us out not next week, where hopefully we will be discussing the Deadpool movie. So with that being said, we'll check you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace out.